What's up, everyone? Welcome back for the next part of this game. Alright, so we'll see how shit goes. How this game finishes out here. Nice, that could have been a lot worse. Ah, yeah, that was great. Whoops! Yeah, that was fan-fucking-tastic. But anyway, so I know a lot of you guys have just recently subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would say within the last, several months or so. So I feel like in order to understand where I'm coming from and where I'm at this point in my life, you guys need to understand the story of the past 4 years of my life, since 2017, because that can really give you a good idea of where I'm coming from and the events in recent history that have kind of shaped where I'm at in my life right now in very soon to be 2021. So I feel like, again, in order for you guys to understand where I'm coming from, you guys have to know a little bit about the backstory of the past couple of years. Because, again, I know most of you guys have probably recently subscribed to my YouTube channel within the last year or so, so you guys may not all know this. For those of you who've been watching my videos for a while, you probably know this, but I'm going to give you guys the story of my life for the past 4 years so that way you guys understand, kind of where I'm coming from. Okay, so let's take a time machine back to 2017. Back before my life completely went to shit, if we're being honest. Although I say that it completely went to shit, but, it could be a hell of a lot worse. That's always the major takeaway from any bad thing that happens as well. Shit could be worse. Granted, it could be a hell of a lot better, but it could also be a hell of a lot worse. So, you always got to look at the positive aspects of anything. So, yeah. Anyway, let's take a time machine back to 2017. So my issues really started in 2017 when my dog passed away. Now, for those of you, again, who own pets, you guys... Wow, really? That's stupid. Anyway, for those of you who know pets, who have pets, that losing a pet is that's a big deal. And, I don't know, I've always felt a deep connection with animals just in general, especially dogs. I don't know, I just feel like they're a lot easier to understand than humans. I've spent my entire life trying to understand humans, and I could spend another entire lifetime trying to understand humans and never fully understand them. But dogs, I've always understood dogs. I feel like I've always understood them, and they've kind of understood me to a certain extent as well. So, I don't know, there's always been kind of a connection there, I suppose. So that hit me pretty hard, when my dog passed away. That was towards the beginning of summer in 2017. Then shortly after that, my stepbro, who also was my best friend, so he actually was staying with us for the summer, and it was actually kind of funny because by then his dad, who used to live with us, had been kicked out by my mom, but he always retained good relations with my family even after that, basically, because my mom kind of saw him as, the son that she never had. Obviously, I was the son that she did have. But, I kind of looked up to him, too, in a certain way, because he was like that. Because I had an older brother, but my older brother's, 9 years older than me, so I never had anyone who was, a guy, in my family who was, similar in age to me. And my stepbro was, a year and a half older than me, I want to say. Maybe only, a year older than me, I want to say. Some like that. Not too much older than me. We're very similar age. We were in the same school grade as well. It's just I'm very young for my school grade, or rather I was very young for my school grade, because I'm not in grade school anymore, obviously. But yeah, I was very young, always very young for my grade. Mostly because I was so smart that I got bumped up. But, you know, whatever. No big deal. I'm just a fucking genius or whatever, apparently. So, whatever. Yeah, but I was always very young for my grade. So he spent he spent the summer of 2017 with us, even though his dad had already been kicked out because his dad's a piece of shit. And still probably is a piece of shit to this day. So he was staying with us that summer. So over that summer, there was a lot of rain. And at my mom's house, the drainage is not very good. And it was just raining and raining and raining and raining. And then one day, it happened. Our power went out. And for the basement, keep in mind, my bedroom and basically everything that I own was in the basement at the time. And so that one day when the power went out, and it was just raining and raining and raining and raining, our sump pump, which pumps all the water away from the basement, crapped out on us. So then the battery backup sump pump kicked in, but there was so much water that the backup sump pump could not keep up. The battery backup could not keep up, and it died. It literally died on us. So we had to quickly get all of my shit out of the basement. And I remember this because, like, all of my shit that was in the basement was just, like, in our kitchen, and it was fucking retarded. So me, my stepbro, my sister, and her boyfriend, we all worked together and got a lot of my stuff out of the basement. Unfortunately, we were not able to get everything, but we were able to get all the important stuff, all my video game systems, my TV, my sound system, all that shit. At the time, I had 5 video game systems: my Switch, PlayStation 2, Wii U, Sega Genesis, and PlayStation 4 were the 5 systems that I had at the time. Of course, now I have 9 systems, which is fucking amazing. So luckily we were able to get everything out, but a lot of my stuff, especially the stuff that was in my bedroom, was just destroyed. Just absolutely destroyed. Because I had my, like, video games and shit just set up in the basement, not in my bedroom. But a lot of the shit that was in my bedroom was just destroyed. A lot of my clothes were destroyed. A lot of my other possessions were destroyed, which is why, again, to this day, I still do not have a lot of personal possessions. Outside of my video game systems and all my games and shit, which I do have a lot of video games, by the way. But outside of that, I actually don't have too many personal possessions besides my video game systems, my controllers, and, you know, the actual physical video games themselves, you know, like the discs and cartridges and shit. Outside of that, I actually don't have too many personal possessions anymore to this day because of that. So that obviously was a huge deal, you know. My whole life was basically uprooted right then and there, and that sucked. So then I had to move myself into the spare bedroom, and then, yeah, I never really fully recovered from that. And then the worst was yet to come, believe it or not. Yeah, believe it or not, my basement flooding, destroying most of my stuff, not even the worst thing that happened in 2017. Because God hates me for some fucking reason. Which is fine. I mean, I'm kind of an asshole sometimes, so I get it, you know. But the worst thing was yet to come in 2017. It was when my stepbro, at the end of October, he passed away from a heart attack. At the age of, I believe, 20? I want to say he was 20. I actually should probably know that, but, you know. I don't pay attention to details. I'm really bad when it comes to details. Like, I literally don't even remember my own brother's birthday because I just don't even remember. I know, that's bad. I'm really bad at paying attention to details, but whatever. So yeah, unfortunately, he passed away at the end of October from a heart attack. And that hit me hard. That's something I've never, to this day, again, never really recovered from. You know, my best friend in the whole world, my one confidant in this whole world, because I don't have very many friends, by the way, passed away, and it was just, after all the other bullshit I had dealt with that year with my dog dying and then the basement flooding, destroying most of my stuff, and then the cherry on top was, oh, hey, and your best friend's gonna die, too. Well, great. Thank you, God, you fucking piece of shit. So that happened, and then going into 2018, I was a little optimistic that it was going to be better, and it was. I will say this, 2018 was a better year, but it was still not a good year. It was just dismal, I was just like, meh. Towards the beginning of the year, I had a chronic cough. I actually got sick like 3 times, which is very unusual for me. I don't know why that happened. And then towards the end of the year, I had car issues. I was literally, one day in October in 2018, I was literally driving to school, and the exhaust system, like the entire exhaust system on my car, literally just like plunk, fell off the car, so that was pretty great. So I'm like, well, shit. Yep, not going into class today, that's for sure. So I had to pull my car over and then call a tow truck and have it towed. And then 2 times towards the end of the year, I had to have my car towed to the fucking shop for other things that went wrong with it. There's the one time I blew the tire, and then it was no bueno. No bueno, for sure. That was just not good. Not good. So then going into 2019, I was like, I set my expectations a little more realistically going into 2019. I'm like, okay, maybe we'll try to be a little bit better here in 2019. Nah. So I had issues with my mouth bugging me with my wisdom teeth, and I had to jump through a bunch of hoops because the insurance company was refusing to cover the procedure to have my wisdom teeth removed, in which case I would have had to pay $2,200 out of pocket to have my wisdom teeth ripped out of my fucking skull, which is stupid, obviously. So after months of having to deal with constant tooth pain, I finally got them to cover the procedure, and so I had my wisdom teeth finally removed. And then the recovery from that took a while, which kind of sucked. And then shortly after that, towards the end of 2019, was when my mom decided to get all screwy, and she decided that apparently I no longer did enough stuff around the house, which is really funny because one day she gave me this whole speech of, you don't do enough stuff around the house compared to me and your sister, which we do a lot more around the house than you do. And it's like, yeah, literally the day before she gave me that whole speech, I spent an hour of my time mowing the yard. Literally a whole fucking ass hour. I'm just like, okay, yeah, but apparently I do nothing around the house. Okay. Alright, seems legit, right? Yeah, okay. Seems logical. Yeah, I do nothing around the house. It's not like I spent an hour mowing the yard or anything, you dumb bitch. Like, I'm sorry, but my mom can be a fucking retard sometimes. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my mom and all that shit, but like, sometimes she can be a retard. So, basically, she ended up kicking me out of the house in 2019. Towards the end of 2019. So I basically was like, alright, well, time to go over to my dad and see if he'll let me move in. So, literally, on a whim, I went to my dad's house, like, shortly after my mom, basically gave me that whole speech. Went over to my dad's house, and I'm like, hey, how's it going, buddy? You want to let me move in? Basically on a whim, And he said yeah, which is something that I am eternally grateful for. I cannot express with words how grateful I am to my dad for letting me move in on a whim and not charging me a single dime in rent, by the way. I cannot thank him enough for that. Because if he ever did, want to charge me for rent, I'd be like, hey, you know what? That's totally fair. I totally respect that, I understand, it costs money to survive. And if he ever were to charge me rent, I would have no problem with that. That was the other thing, too, is that my mom was going to start charging me rent as well. Which, again, I understand. I didn't really have any problem with that. But if I can get a free ride, I might as well take it, And my dad wasn't going to charge me rent, so I'm like, okay, smart move is to move from my mom's house to my dad's house. But that was a huge event, because I had to pick up my life again. After, in 2017, when my basement had flooded, I had to move into a spare bedroom and then get everything set up in there. And so after that, in 2019, I kind of had to do that again. Had to pick up all my shit, move to an entirely different house this time. And then towards the end of 2019, established myself in my dad's house, got everything up and running. But that whole process was kind of stressful, and then getting, basically kicked out of my mom's house. But I think we're on much better terms now. I actually think that now that I've moved out of my mom's house, me and her get along a lot better now. So that's good. That's definitely good. So that shit happened in 2019. So it was another crappy year for me after having to deal with shit in 2018. And then 2020 comes around. Oh my god, don't even get me started on 2020. Holy shit. I mean, with the whole coronavirus thing basically destroying all my future plans, because towards the end of 2019, I had a plan. I'm like, all right, I feel like I know what I'm going to do. I finally have some direction on what I want to do, with the future of my life. I finally have some kind of plan now. And then the coronavirus comes by and is just like, nope, your plans are shot now. You're welcome. And then I did have one issue on my YouTube channel as well, which I'll be discussing later on in this recording session. So 2020 turned out to be another kind of dismal year, but actually I hate to say it, but compared to 2019, 2018, and 2017, despite the whole coronavirus thing, I actually think 2020 is the best year I've had since 2016. And I know, that might sound fucked up, because 2020 has been a fucked up year, but I actually think 2020 has probably been the best year I've had since 2016. I mean, despite everything, despite the coronavirus, despite me having to buy a new car, which again, I'll be talking about later on, and despite a couple issues on my YouTube channel, it's actually gone pretty well. Compared to my previous years, sadly, it's actually gone pretty well. I feel like I had a better year this year. This is my first full year living at my dad's house now. And I feel like I've had a much better year than I did in 2019, 2018, or 2017. So, yeah, and it's not like those years were all bad. In 2018, I actually got to see the Indianapolis 500. I think it was the 102nd running of the Indianapolis 500, which was really cool. I went to see that with my brother. That was some cool shit. And in 2018, I also went to see a Foo Fighters concert. That was fucking sweet. And then in 2019, I went with my dad to see the NASCAR Bristol night race. That was pretty freaking sweet. So, I mean, it's not like it was all bad, but it was just kind of dismal, And I feel like in 2020, things were actually slightly better. Still not great, obviously. Still a pretty crappy year overall, but I feel like things are starting to maybe trend in the right direction for my personal life. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic, because I went into 2020 feeling really optimistic, and then those hopes were kind of dashed by the coronavirus, but still not bad, Still not a bad year for me overall, personally. You got to look at the positives, right? You got to try to anyway, because the past 4 years of my life now have been rather dismal, but 2020, I would say overall was still a pretty dismal year, but I feel like things are trending in the right direction, and that's something to be happy about, I suppose, So, yeah, I just wanted to give you guys that little bit of backstory, of shit that's happened to me over the past 4 years, and why I've just been a little bit, I've not gonna lie, I've been a little bit depressed the past couple of years. But, this YouTube channel has given me purpose. It has given me something to look forward to, and has really helped me through these difficult times. So again, to all you guys out there who have watched my videos and supported my content, I just want to say, truly, it means a lot to me, and thank you for any and all support you guys have given me. It really means a lot. These past 4 years have been some of the toughest that I've ever had to deal with. It's been frustrating. It just feels like it's been one thing after another that's been screwing me over, and just really sucks. So hopefully in 2021 things will start looking up even more. I have some plans for the future moving forward, including plans for this YouTube channel as well, so I'll be discussing those more so during the next video. I know I went on a little bit after the game ended, I know. But I wanted to take the time to explain all that to you guys so you guys really understand where I'm coming from. I just feel like in order for you guys to really understand where I'm coming from, you need to know what I've been through the past few years. So that way you guys kind of have a better idea of, again, where I'm coming from. But I really do, I feel like things are trending in the right direction. I can kind of feel like things are things are looking up. Things are trending in the right direction. So hopefully that continues to happen. All right. Well, either way, guys, stay tuned for the next game. I'm going to be talking more about analysis from 2020 and my future plans for this YouTube channel and shit like that. So stay tuned, and until next time, peace out.